Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Dork Side of the Ring podcast. I am your host, purveyor of all things dorky within the scope of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I am Rum, and I'm recording this again because I was a schmuck and I had the echo on the microphone up. So, really what I did was save you from a 12-minute rant, but still have the energy from it. So I'm going to figure out a way to condense this. We've got a good one. It is myself, Derp123, and Schmoogoogle. I'm bringing back Gerp, celebrating a year. Happy birthday, Dork Side of the Ring. It is good to have you guys here to celebrate it. If you were here from last week's episode and you want to check out this week's episode, hey, welcome. Glad you made it. Hope you enjoyed it with myself, Tyler, and SexJ. It was a fun time. Can't wait to get them back. I hope you enjoyed it. If this is your second time listening, awesome. If this is a repeated multiple times, awesome. Welcome in. Glad to have you. I saved you all from a rant about pro wrestling and how it relates to my podcast. But we'll get to it. Fun episode today. I don't want to say in honor, but because of it being 4th of July today, when this episode is being dropped on the main feed, we've got a on theme topic. We've got Mr. America, the masked version of Hulk Hogan in 2003. A lot of fun. I always am a sucker for gimmicks and angles where it's a wink and they're like, oh yeah, no, like I'm definitely not like, oh hey, I'm Mr. America, I'm not Hulk Hogan. It's like, but you're doing everything that Hulk Hogan does. Like that's the point. The point is be like where it's like, oh, they're insulting our intelligence. No, your intelligence is insulting them. Like it's not supposed to be smart. Like they're not hiding it well. Anyways, that's not the rant. Fun episode. We talk about that. We talk about getting into wrestling right now, and where you start getting into wrestling, because both Gerp and Shmoo are not wrestling fans, and I basically brought up how this is a great time. If you're listening to us on the Patreon, support.grum.tv, this Saturday, the 2nd, July 2nd, we're watching the Money in the Bank pay-per-view in my Discord. We'll be watching it there. Good time. Money in the Bank is always one of the best pay-per-views of the year. It is 2 ladder matches for a chance, damn near a guaranteed title run. A lot of fun. Normally, I don't think they've had 2 briefcase at the same time since like 2016? No, 2017 maybe. But yeah, no, it's been quite some time. So maybe somebody won't cash in within 24 hours. I think last year, Nikki ASH cashed in the night after on Monday Night Raw. Who knows how it'll be this year? But I think my favorites right now, I would really like for Seth Rollins to win it, and on the women's side, Liv Morgan. Oh man, Liv Morgan having it would be so nice. Or Asuka. Those are my top 2. Anyways, that go there. Grum.tv to join the Discord. That's where we'll be showing it. The thing I wanted to talk about, the rant and where it ended up. I'll just finish where it ended. I want to just update you because I know I keep saying it, but it has come to me. I've kind of come to the realization that I'm just not going to do it right now because I don't have the desire to do it the way I want to do it, and I don't want to half-ass it. Video forms of the podcast, not going to do it. Mainly because it's on top of the limited time I have for these. I try to record an episode, record 2 or 3 episodes a week so I can keep myself ahead when I have time, and then this way when I get busy, I'm good. I'm also trying to do one or 2 streams a week. I'm also trying to do other things. I'm trying to, more importantly, better myself mentally with therapy and such, which I just do it. I've always been a proponent of it, and I just haven't followed through. I kind of fell out of habit and, paid the piper for such, but not the Roddy Piper. But all these times, right? And it's just extra time on top of me wanting to do it in a specific way that I am, in my limited time to do so, still figuring out how I want to do it. I could just record it over an overlay and just do that. the problem becomes getting a. Not everybody that I have guests, right? They're not all content creators, right? So they don't all have cameras, and those that do have cameras but aren't content creators, they maybe they're not comfortable on this, on camera for that long, right? It's not something that I just want to be like, hey, like be on camera, da, 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 da. I'm mindful of that. So we're working our way to get there eventually. Don't know when it'll be. Obviously, I'll give you a heads up when it does get there. But this episode, myself, Gerp, Schmoogoogle, talking about Mr. That's fine and dandy. It is right now here. It is a good thing. I guess happy 4th of July. Not really happy. It's the 4th of July. Congrats. Fuck fireworks, anti-fireworks. We actually talk about some of the anti-balloon propaganda that I spread. But yeah, here on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast, myself, Gerp, Schmoogoogle will talk about Mr. America. Like I said, here on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast.
This episode doesn't have to do with Chucky, does it?
No, it doesn't. I have not hit recycled content time. I have hit recycled guests. So we're at that point.
Am I the first recycled guest?
No.
Aha. That's offensive.
You are the only guest to go a full year so far without appearing a second time, so you can put that feather in your cap.
Okay, that hurts.
Wait, you're actually saying
feather to put in my cap.
Wait, hold on. You're the last repeat guest, is what he said.
Wow.
Listen, you could be me, guy who doesn't get invited to podcast for a year.
I was the first guest, and damn it was a good episode, and then I never got asked to come back.
You were look, I was going through this. I was going through the cycle of stuff, and then I had the two of you scheduled, and then you guys probably would have been like at the beginning of June. I would have grabbed you to get you on, but I got busy, and then when I stopped getting busy, Gerp flew away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like this week before like I fly away for like a week.
Yeah, so I'm like, let me get this in right now while I can. Yeah, I was like, all right.
So your excuse for not having me on sooner was like, it would have been 20 days earlier, so you still would have been the last repeat guest, just a little bit sooner.
No, because I still haven't gotten Panda a second time. Gotta get Panda on. It's also finding the right like show partner, like guest partner, and it's like, all right, like, who can I put Gerp with? Because Gerp doesn't know anything about, like, his wrestling background is what you see here. It burns when Gerp pees when he's in a wrestling ring, and Gerp like green beans.
And I like how he was like, who would be perfect for that? The other person who knows nothing about wrestling.
Correct. Yes. No,
I think coming into this, I now know more than Shmoo because of the last podcast that I did, where we spent an extra 2 hours afterwards learning me about wrestling.
Yeah. We showed you.
I know some. No, you know what? You would be mad about, Grum, and Dredd messaged me about it the other day. When Dreddius was here. Wait, is this? I don't know what we talk about on the podcast. Should I be talking about this on the podcast?
We could talk about it. We can talk about it now and then. Like, go into it.
Yeah, when Dreddius was here, we went to trivia night. And Dredd actually knows wrestling.
Oh, he does.
But he says he doesn't know it amazing. But every time there's a wrestling question, he answered it right. And Gerp shut him down so fast, and so he submitted the wrong answer like 3 times. And Dredd's just like, well.
Because the answers were like Brock Lesnar for 2 of them.
It was like who got like MVP or something like that, and he was like Brock Lesnar. And Gerb was like, there's no way.
What is this old? That's the one thing I know about him. And it was like the 2020 MVP. And I'm like, that dude's like 60.
There's another question about like what presidents were wrestlers.
Oh. Not Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln and George Washington.
Was it George Washington?
George Washington was a wrestler?
Now you learned something this show.
Not a pro wrestler.
Yeah, no. Abe Lincoln was a professional?
Abe Lincoln is credited as the creator of the choke slam.
Oh, that's amazing.
God. Which makes sense because he's like,
I always accredited him towards the great emancipator, but I like also like calling him
And racist.
the great choke slammer.
Abraham Lincoln did two things: united a uncivil nation, and also invented the choke slam.
Sparked an uncivil nation.
Would grabbed his opponents by the neck, lifted them up, and then slammed them down.
That's how he won the Civil War.
Those are the two greatest things that he ever did. He met Robert Lee in the middle of the battlefield. All right, end it.
Somebody should paint that. I would love to see a painting of him on a hill somewhere. Right. Like there's a sun beaming down behind him.
Abe Lincoln.
Oh no. You're gonna put that in your
slam.
Oh no! Put that in that AI photo generator. You know what
Dolly?
I'm talking about? Yeah, Dolly. Hold on, I gotta do that.
There's some very good images.
Oh no! Oh boy! You just put the best one on your background, right in between sports, right between sports and like that little empty area to the left of you.
Okay.
Underneath sports.
Do I want the oil painting or the photoshopped one?
I feel like the oil painting is the way to go.
The oil painting is the way to go? All right, let's do this oil painting. It does also have a WWE watermark in the bottom.
No way. No.
Yes.
No, I don't believe it.
All right. Let's see. Add image.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Well, that's amazing.
That is an incredible.
It's not what I expected. It's a little more shirtless than I was hoping for.
You were hoping for that.
What, you think he's wrestling in a top hat?
Yeah.
A vest and a top hat?
I would. Yes.
You know what?
This is what I got. I will. This is all I got from Abe Lincoln choking Robert E. Lee. Let's see. Oh.
This is the runner-up image that I was thinking. If it's gonna show up.
It just made these massacred image of Lincoln's face.
I don't like that.
Looks like the opening to True Detective.
It looks like Slender Man.
They only had Robert E. Lee in two photos. Everything else is just...
Oh, that's terrifying.
That's incredible. That is absolutely wild. All right, we're here on the dork side of the ring. We've been doing a little bullshitting. I'm gonna be haunted by the photos of Dolly
Llama
Abe Lincoln. But we're here on the dark side with returning guest back after a year hiatus. He was hiking the mountains of the Himalayas, researching and learning the ways of the grapples.
Got very lost.
Very lost. We've got Gerp coming back.
Choke slammed by a mountain goat.
and we also have making his debut in the dork side of the ring, my good pal Schmoogoogle.
That's me.
That's you. Welcome, both of you. Welcome back, and
welcome
to the dork side of the ring. It is good to have
long-time listener, first-time caller.
Long-time caller, first time you picked up.
I've been calling forever, and you never answer the phone. And I'm sitting here. I knew the answer to what was, the sixth member of NSYNC, and I didn't win the tickets.
I named every song you played a snippet of.
Yeah, I knew them all. I called to be in the trivia contest. Never picked up, but picked up.
I called about the restraining order to get that reversed. That one didn't go through.
They left me on red then too. But yeah, we're here. Good times. It is. This is the 4th of July episode. This is episode 53. Gerp, notorious and infamously the first episode, one half of the first episode.
Ah, yes. Infamously is not the adjective I would have used. I thought it was a great time, but I digress.
I feel like infamously is like also. I know it's not good, but also like
it's my brand.
It's. I just feel like infamously is always a good way to say something that wasn't something that was good, but like also like it makes it sound like ooh scandalous,
mysterious.
Have to go back to listen to what they talked about, in episode 1.
Oh, so we're farming listens now.
Yes,
okay,
I wasn't sure where that sentence was going at first. I heard, this is the 4th of July episode. Gerp, infamously the biggest patriot that in the world has ever seen. The man bleeds red, white, and blue.
I don't... our topic will actually get to the biggest patriot who bleeds red, white, and blue of all time. Way to go, Shmoo, with the little... You're gonna get
information up head that I didn't get.
No. That's Shmoo just being Shmoo. But before we get started, I would like you guys, Gerp, for you to reintroduce yourself and Shmoo to introduce yourself. We'll start alphabetically with Gerp 1, 2, 3. Gerp, tell the people a little bit about you. And numerically.
You said alphabetically, and I still didn't know who was going first until you said my name. So that's a little fun fact about me. My name is Gerp123. You can find me on social media that I don't use at Gerp123. Maybe check my Twitter. The only thing I update is my Discord whenever I stream once every 2 months. But most importantly, and most notably, you can find me on the very first episode of Dork Side of the Ring.
That's my guy.
And listen to that. If it gets 5,000 listens, Grum will eat a bowl of 12 eggs in the next 5 days.
Yes, absolutely.
That actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
12 eggs? That's a lot of eggs.
It is.
How are they prepared?
Well, you have the next 5 days to eat them.
Oh.
So it's not like...
You're gonna eat eggs in 5 days.
Yeah.
That's much more manageable.
5,000 listens.
I will eat
That's a Rocky workout. This is a wrestling podcast, not a boxing podcast. Okay.
It reminds me. So, Gerp? You're probably too young for this.
Of course.
Of course. But Hulk Hogan had a reality TV show called Hogan Knows Best on VH1.
Classic.
And there is an episode where he is like teaching Davy Boy Smith's son, David Hart Jr. or David Hart Smith, or I forget what he goes by nowadays. What it's like to be a WWE superstar, not just a pro wrestler. And he's like, yeah, brother, this is what I would do. I would put 4 eggs in a cup in the morning and I would just drink it, but I'd leave it in my mustache, right? So I go to lock up with the guy and I go, and I will blow the egg that's been sitting on my mustache since this morning in their face.
Amazing. That's amazing.
And Hogan has wait, is this Dave? This is Hogan that has the egg in his mustache?
Yes.
Yeah, it just blends in with the stash too. Like nobody knows. It's a surprise attack.
Yeah. Oh! Debuff. I've been debuffed.
I thought you were just looking very moist today.
Just like. Also, I feel like that's not. But I wouldn't put it past. I mean, wrestlers would do that kind of stuff all the time, like just to prank each other. But man, that's where, like, pun not intended, but also intended. You're the one with the egg on your face, like literally.
Yeah.
That is, you're gonna be walking around all day smelling egg.
Also, can you still like blow it at someone when it gets hard and crusty in your mustache hairs?
I think it's more like the scent of it, right? Would be it.
Yeah, but you're suffering from the scent too the entire day.
I know. Yeah, that's my. It's like you're really just joking yourself.
Listen, Hulk Hogan on VH1 would do anything for the bit. You know,
it's
about bleeding for the content or sniffing egg all day in the hot California sun.
There is an infamous scene where he's listening to Young Jeezy, and he's like listening to for the first time, and he's like, what is this? And then he goes and like plays it again, and then like he's like, and then it cuts to like later in the day when he's like listening to it for probably the 17th time, and he's like rapping along with it, and I'm like, there's an N-word in here, and I know Hulk Hogan said it before. Did we catch him saying it?
That didn't make the cut.
It did not. So
it got recorded. I guarantee it. It just did not make the TV show.
If you had to choose one, never mind.
So
Never mind.
It's a slur to hear Hulk Hogan say out loud in the song.
I mean, you don't have to. There's a lot. Hulk Hogan, I'm sure, has a lot of slurs in his.
Oh yeah.
It's a shame that The Rock was the first person to get a rap verse from wrestling. I think Hulk Hogan could have murdered it.
Oh, I don't know if
There's no way he's the only one that's ever rapped.
No. Are you talking about the Tech 9 one?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, no. Macho Man has an entire rap album.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know this, and I wish that was what the podcast was about.
He's like, I didn't even know this, and he's dancing beside me.
He has a whole. It is a whole thing, and it's basically an album-long diss of Hulk Hogan. They're like
That's
the best
so
song
good.
is called "Be a Man," and he's just like, "Be a man, Hogan," and it's just like, like just telling him the whole time, he's like, "I'll whoop your ass. I'll drive down to Panama, Florida, and whoop your ass, brother."
That's very good. Wrestling is a good sport, everybody. If you take one thing away from this podcast, know that wrestling is a good sport.
Wrestling, great sport. Shmoo, on the other side of the table, your turn. Let the people know a little bit about you, where to find you, and plug whatever you would like to plug.
Yeah, my name's Jacob or Schmoogoogle. You can find me at Schmoogoogle on everything. Currently, I stream on Twitch on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays whenever I can. And I just uploaded the first episode of a actual play RPG podcast, actually called Monster Mashers. That's it. The Monster Mashers. There's a name.
I'm also on that.
Featuring Gerp123 while we're there. So yeah, check it out. That's the most recent thing I'm doing. If you're listening to this, check it out. If you like RPGs, you like things like Supernatural or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it's kind of the basis of that RPG, and we just play it.
The role-playing game, not the missile launcher.
Yeah.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, our game master hasn't given us one of those yet. He's not that fun.
I mean, look, there's one thing that is very effective for wiping out monsters and mashing them, and it is a rocket-propelled grenade.
Yeah, I didn't know that that's what RPG stood for until just the other day. And I don't remember what I was watching when they were like,
they were running
this
around with
stands for
role-playing
rocket
grenades?
propelled. Oh, I was watching the, not a sponsor, I was watching the Channel 5 gun rally thing.
Oh no!
The convention, the IRA convention that happened the other day.
Well, that sounds like a riveting watch.
Which apparently they have NRA. I said IRA.
I was like,
Internal Revenue Association.
I thought you said NRA, and then I was like, wait, I think he said IRA, which is an entirely different convention to go to.
It's a completely convention. You know they have RPGs there at the IRA convention. I wouldn't even know that they sell RPGs at the NRA convention. I was like, whoa, okay, this is the thing.
Yeah, that totally makes me comfortable that people in this country own those. So
Yeah,
way to go, us.
yeah, we're just waiting for anarchy to take over, and then it's.
But it took a salesman saying RPG and then saying what it stood for me to be like, oh, okay, that's what I mean.
Ah, yes. Okay.
You know, the grenade that looks like this. You know,
it's that is propelled by a rocket. Yeah, no. I mean, look, my extensive experience with RPG is shooting RPGs at helicopters in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, sounds about right.
With an alarming rate of accuracy, because like they don't
lock on.
They don't lock on. They just go. And I'm
all right,
like,
so when the anarchy comes, I'm coming to you, and I'm relying on that RPG accuracy.
All right, Gerb, get back. Meanwhile, hey, I think it's backwards.
It's backwards.
Why is it so heavy in the back? Oh.
You're just looking down it like a big scope.
And it's got a telescoping thing, you know, it just keeps pulling out. And then
the flames just come out the back of it and burn your face.
Oh, I didn't know this was a flamethrower. Boom.
Oh, yeah, it's like
whoops.
It's like in Wii bowling when you throw the ball backwards. Everybody goes, "Oh!"
That's my favorite thing to do in Wii bowling. Is once you got like good enough to where I'm like, all right, I can just like make this up. I'm just gonna say,
oh yeah, for sure. Like I saw the trailers for the new Wii Switch sports game, and I was like, doesn't have me's in it. No, it's not Wii Bowling, is it?
It's not the same. I've played the new Switch Sports. It's fun. It's not the same.
No, that's unfortunate.
Sword fighting is very good though.
Sword fighting, nice.
Mhm.
Good to know. I mean, I
Mhm.
got a Switch, so maybe I'll get into that. Shmoo, Gerps had plenty of time. He's got a whole 2.5 hours. So we're just going to talk about just you. Just Gerps here to just chime in. No, I'm kidding.
All right, I'll go fuck myself.
But we are going to
Gross.
start with you. We are going to start with you, Shmoo. What is your background in professional wrestling?
I have almost no background with professional wrestling. I actually feel like my family kind of in the 90s were fans of it, and I knew it was around, but it always seemed like something people talked about in the past and never was something that was like concurrent for my like I never
Yeah.
I always look at WWE and I'm like, oh, this happened like 30 years ago, and then I'm like, oh no, it's still happening. It's like this is a thing that happens frequently. You know what I mean? Like this is every day. My name's Jacob, and everybody would call me Jake the Snake, and we're like, remember that wrestler Jake the Snake? And I'm like, no.
I'm 12, but thank you.
No, I don't.
But that's my experience with wrestling. I like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. My goal one day is to be as buff as Dwayne. Whenever I work out, I just have a picture of him on the wall, and I'm just like, come on, be like Dwayne. Be like Dwayne.
Oh, God, it's my power.
Yeah. I'm working on that part. I'm working about the drive, the power. I'm staying hungry. I got that one. down. I
Do you
devour.
devour,
I got
or are
that
you
one
just
down
hungry?
too.
That's
I devour too. I ate Chick-fil-A twice today.
Wow.
You're on. Look, hey, staying hungry and we devour. You're 50% of the way there. You just gotta get the drive.
The drive, the power.
I mean, if you drive a car, does that count?
He drove to Chick-fil-A.
I drove to Chick-fil-A.
All right, we're almost there. So all you need is the power. Like you just need the power, and you're not gonna get that from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A doesn't serve power.
Not a lot of protein, just mostly a lot of carb.
A lot of carb, but 75% there, and then you're basically The Rock.
I'm almost Dwayne. I'm just right now.
You're Dwayne. You're like Dwayne. You're Dwayne. You're Dwayne. No any, but the Dwayne.
Like Pig, you just keep collecting letters when you hit achievements.
Yeah.
Or it's like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. You got skate.
Yeah. There's one on top of our neighbor's house. We just haven't made it up there yet to collect it.
That's where the power is, right? The power is
up there.
I get the end and
I just gotta grind and then do an ollie kick flip off the side. And
man, I'm now just like upset thinking about all the time wasted trying to get one single letter, because every map had a letter that was like kind of tucked away, but you kind of knew where it was. You're like, how the fuck do I get up there?
Mm-hmm.
Does any game do that anymore?
Floor, you just couldn't get there.
Does any game do that anymore, where there's just like these? It's like there's 100 floating collectible items in this world. Like we live in
like more than you expect. Cause
you think so?
Yeah.
Well,
you play a lot
Kirby
of open world
had
games.
a lot of hidden things. Okay. I just played the new Kirby. Zelda had freaking 1,000 or whatever Corcrux seeds.
Yeah,
those are more than just floating items, though. Like that's like clicky. I'm just talking like something that you gotta like really, you gotta get into to get to it.
The Assassin's Creeds have always had stuff like that. It's mainly just the RPGs that are coming out with stuff like that. But nothing as cool as just a floating letter that spells bonus or skate.
Yeah.
Grum sitting here like, they've hijacked my podcast. This is a video game podcast now.
Look, the beauty of the dork side is it is whatever it is that week. Like it's like let's see. So last week's episode was 52. We talked about the Hollywood Backlot Brawl, which involved Roddy Piper, Goldust.
Oh, I know that name.
Goldust getting stripped down to.
I heard he's rowdy.
Yeah, he is very rowdy. But it was like basically supposed to be Roddy Piper versus O.J. Simpson and Goldust versus Razor Ramon. I like your face. Yes,
That's a great idea.
Yes, you're right. Correct. It's a horrible idea. But the week before, I end up telling a story about I told a story about a coworker who lost his job because he couldn't keep his foot fetish in check. So yeah, Yeah.
This is a podcast that I just
I got to go back and listen to that one.
Yeah.
Is this a video podcast? We go into detail about...
No, but I do
Can I
talk
see
about
feet? Or
No.
are we just discussing feet?
I mean, the whole match is, the whole discussion is about a kiss my foot match. But yeah, basically my coworker asked what them feet do.
What them feet do?
You?
No, not to me. To a customer.
You show them what them feet do?
No.
You guys remember when people would go around and yell at people's feet and yell, "What are those?" And it even made it into a Marvel movie.
Yeah. Good time.
Which movie was that in?
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I remember that and
That won't make
talking about
sense in
white
10 years.
vans.
It hardly makes sense now. That won't make sense in 10 years.
No, it won't.
The internet is an ever evolving place that makes no sense.
Don't put memes into your movies, guys.
Look, we say that, but like we thought that with like Avengers Endgame because they had the Fortnite thing in it, and like here we are 3 years later, and Fortnite is still pretty big. And I just
don't remind me.
Wait, maybe I'm going crazy. What about Fortnite was in Endgame?
It's when they reveal that Thor is super depressed and he's overweight.
Yeah.
And then
Gotcha.
You had to go around on a skateboard and collect all the letters in Fortnite.
Okay. For some reason, I kept thinking Free Guy, where they had the Fortnite stuff and the Marvel stuff. And I was like, this movie also won't make sense in 30 years.
Free Guy. I mean, Free Guy.
I enjoyed the movie, though. Don't get me wrong.
Good movie. I think Free Guy's went so far into being about the moment, like the internet at the moment, that I think it will age good because it'll be like, hey, like I forgot this, like, when they make the little references to oh man, I forgot about that. That's really cool, or something like that.
Free Guy is essentially the 2021 YouTube Rewind in just a movie.
But actually, but actually entertaining.
Exactly.
And not just Will Smith saying, "Oh, that's hot."
Look at that!
Rewind time.
I gotta get some Fortnite.
Gerb, what about you? What is besides your background on the call?
My background that nobody will see, but is an absolute treat.
No, I'm gonna take a screenshot here. And,
do it.
And we'll put it in.
My entire wrestling experiences is about, what'd you say we spent? About 4 hours in a Discord call with you and Panda Pete about a year ago recording episode 1 of this podcast.
Yeah, basically.
And that's about it. Yeah. And it was a great time, and I sincerely enjoyed it, and I never followed up on it. I'm just like, I'm a wrestling fan now.
I feel like I always wanted to get into wrestling because I always hear about these storylines and these cool things that go on. But I feel like, how do you even start? Like, I feel like at this point, I'm like, how do I get into wrestling? I need a guide. You should upload a video or a podcast called the Newcomer's Guide to Getting into Wrestling.
It is funny.
Wrestling for Dummies.
It is funny you say that. So at the start of the year, I was on this whole like, all right, I'm going to do some YouTube videos. I'm going to do a weekly series, all this stuff. Quickly, I got COVID like right out the gate. So I didn't have
2022 hit hard for the people that like tried so hard not to get COVID for 3 years.
Yeah. And I got hit with it and I'm like, all right. And like I got hit and I'm like, dude, I got no energy. So like I lost a week of like momentum because I was like, all right, cool. I have all these videos I have all this footage recorded and then I'll edit it and then I'll upload it and just repeat the cycle. And I just got behind, and as content creators, once you get behind, you just start stressing about it to the point where you never do it. Versus it's like, all right, let me just get to where I'm supposed to be. Versus like making up.
It's way easier to put out. Well, not easy, but it's way easier to put out that fresh content that you're working on. Then immediately put it out, then go back to something you made a while back. Yeah,
like I have 2 Pokemon Nuzlocke just finished. All the footage and everything, I just have to write the script. The one has a script. Everything's done. I just have to put it together. I'm like,
do you have a thumbnail?
Yeah, I got a thumbnail.
Oh, well, everything is done. You just upload it.
I just upload it. I know. Here's the thing. Everything's done. I just need to put it together, right? So it's like I took all the pieces out of the box and I put the sub pieces together. So like
you dumped the Lego on the table and you just went whoop.
Right, like I made like it's a full Star Wars set. It's got the Death Star. It's got the Millennium Falcon. It's got
That's an insane set.
Right, and I got everything together. I just need to put it all on the big fucking square piece so that it all is together.
GURP's a Lego guy. How much that set cost? How much that set cost?
Well, if we're talking collector series, the Millennium Falcon alone is $800.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So adding in a Death Star with that, which is probably another $1,000 if it's to scale. If to scale would be impossible with the Millennium Falcon, but. So yeah, you're looking at about like a $3,000 set.
So I got $3,000 of the equivalent of content. Just sitting.
Yes, and it takes up your entire living room, and you're just tiptoeing around it every time you walk in the door, and you're like, "I'll get to that."
Oh, what was it? What was it? Was it? I think you should leave. That has the bit about the guy who's looking for who's like got a giant watch for
I've never heard of the movie. I think you should leave.
No, it's a series. It's a series. Which, if you haven't, it's on Netflix. It's a sketch comedy show.
Great.
It's basically Tim Robinson tried out. He auditioned for SNL and wanted to be a writer. And Lorne Michaels was like, "This stuff's too niche. Like it won't translate." Meanwhile, Netflix is like, they see one episode of him in a different series. They're like, "We want you." An entire show, the whole series. It's your show, and it's
amazing.
It's great stuff.
That makes me happy that SNL missed that.
Yeah. But yeah, so bringing up the thing, I had an idea for a series, basically where I explain elements of pro wrestling for people who are like people in my community who aren't wrestling fans. You know, like, oh, what does babyface mean? What does heel mean? What is work? What is shoot? Like, what do all these things mean? And I never got around to it because I was just like, but like I was gonna do that so that you had like an idea, like, all right, hey, for an example, right now one of the best heels is Roman Reigns. Why is he a bad guy? Because he cheats to win, and he is self-centered. He's manipulative, all this stuff. That's why he's a heel. But on the same side, we have heels who are kick-ass heels, who are heels because they are ruthless. Like, they don't have a
What does the term heel mean?
Bad guy.
Bad guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Person you're supposed to hate.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And then babyface is a good guy because they have a babyface.
Because they're babyface. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, like,
I like it.
You know.
Yeah, we need this series.
A good guy.
Just go ahead and okay, editor, whoever edits this podcast, just go ahead and bleep all this out. Go ahead and bleep all this out. This is, and so it's just like, I had this idea to make up, you know, we're making, and then it's gonna.
Great work by me to edit that out. Way to go.
Yep.
Pat myself on the back. But no, so like, to answer your question, like, when the best time to get into wrestling is literally right now. Like, tomorrow. Like, I'm going to show you this, right? And we'll have a discussion, and I'm sure we'll bring up other elements of things going on. And there's a show damn near every night on national television. There's Monday Night Raw at 8 o'clock on USA Network.
What day does that come on?
Monday.
Tuesday.
You got NXT on Tuesday on USA Channel, 8 o'clock. Wednesday, you have AEW Dynamite on TBS at 8 o'clock.
All times are in Eastern Standard Time?
Yes.
Do they still say let's get ready to rumble at the beginning of every match?
No. That was
let's get ready to wrestle.
No. Let's get ready to rumble was, for boxing, but then WCW.
Oh, yeah.
But WCW did get Michael Buffer for their main event for their pay-per-views.
Oh, nice.
So then Michael Buffer.
Let's get ready to buffer.
No, that's me to my YouTube. We're looking at it like, okay, like. Yeah.
Editor, if you guys could do me a favor, and when Gert makes these jokes, just enter the laugh track. Make it a tip to the editor too. Okay.
He says, talking directly to the editor.
It's me. We got a whole.
Listen, when he's Grom when he's on content, and then he's editor in editor mode. If I don't specify which one I'm talking to, he might be confused.
If you don't dehumanize him when he's editing it, he might think he has purpose.
Look, I dehumanize myself when I'm editing, all right? So just be like, you idiot.
Editor, you're just an editor.
You're just an idiot. You're a dummy. You're just hitting.
This is why you're not on the main show.
You're doing a marker. You make a marker here. You make 4 markers, and that's it. That's all you got with the.
4 marker.
Cut. All right. Oh God. But yeah, no. But no, it really is. Best time is right now. There's a lot of good stuff on, national TV, and there's like smaller independent stuff that's also good. I highly recommend Enjoy Wrestling. They're a promotion out of Pittsburgh. They are very progressive. They include pronouns with every talent that appears on.
That's very nice.
Like they're very progressive. They don't. I think their champion is. I forget his tagline, but he's poly, so like that is incorporated into his catchphrases and stuff like that. Like it's not just like a gimmick, like it's real life. And it's I enjoy it. They put up a YouTube thing.
It's called Enjoy Wrestling for a reason.
Correct.
When you said Mondays and Tuesdays, and you said these are these different programs,
yeah.
Does that mean the storylines don't interconnect between those two? Like they're separate leagues, they're separate things.
So there's.
I'm just asking dumb wrestling questions.
No, it's good. WWE has 3 brands. So Raw stories tend to take place on Raw with Raw characters. Okay. So it's sometimes
the other one's cooked. Just keep going. Don't stop for that. Don't stop for that.
Put in the laugh track. Put it in.
NXT stays with NXT characters. NXT is their developmental brand, so it's people who haven't been wrestling for long or are new to WWE, and they want to get them kind of like within the system of everything. And then SmackDown is on Friday on Fox, and their characters kind of stick to them. Occasionally, you do have cross-brand. Feuds and such, because sometimes you got to include, especially like now where like some of their top stars are kind of hurt or absent, where they're like, all right, we got to get these people, we need to like share the star power, and whatnot. But like you can
it says here
yeah.
that WWE has existed since 1953.
Yes.
How many throwbacks are there in wrestling to like even the 90s? Like tomorrow, if I was to watch an episode tomorrow, like how many throwbacks would there be?
There
like to old wrestlers.
No,
okay.
I mean, you might see like, so for you, right, and you and Gerp as 2 new or non-wrestling fans, that shit's brand new, right? So you wouldn't notice like, oh, like that's an homage to this character, or oh, they're doing this, they're running back this same storyline.
Oh, that dude's fucking a hand. A thing that's happened in wrestling.
Yes. So like you wouldn't notice it. Like WWE does a great job.
I would notice it.
You would. This is true.
I'm noticing it.
So WWE does a great job of like getting the casual fan or somebody who's new and getting them kind of caught up to speed. Like for somebody who watches wrestling like me or has had for a long time, it gets tiring to see the same replays from so Raw is a 3-hour show. Something that happened at 8:15 is going to be replayed at 8:45 and replayed at 9:30 and at 10:15. And maybe it's part of the main event, that ends the show at 11. So you may see the same thing 4 times and they keep talking about it. But it's okay, hey, here's the characters, here's what's happened, because you don't know who shows up when they show up. So you kind of have to be on this like, all right, we're going to go to the lowest, the lowest base of knowledge where, hey, you might not know who these characters are. So this is the good guy. And whereas like AEW is for the people like me who are devout wrestling fans who have been watching for 20 plus years, they don't hold your hand with things. They basically go, all right, you should know these things. You should know that these guys had a feud 7 years ago and this is the first time they're wrestling since. We're not going to really hype it up too much other than just have the announcer go, this is the first time they're wrestling since 2015.
Okay.
Whereas like WWE is like, if that happened, you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, hey, here's what happened the last time they faced. Hey, here's what's happened since they faced. Here's what's happened for him. Here's what's happened for them. And that's where you get with stuff.
Okay.
So I think WWE is a good entry point. I really recommend NXT because NXT is not, it's brand new characters. So you're kind of getting in at the same time everybody else is. And they're more focused on characters. Like, there's a character named Tony D'Angelo. He's the Don of NXT. He is a Sopranos inspired character where he comes out like this. He comes out in velour tracksuits.
That's my guy, my Italian heritage.
Then there's a guy who basically has his own university. He's Andre Chase. He has Chase University, and he has 2 students. There's, Joe Gacy, who is this kind of super creepy guy based in like a distorted and twisted view on like inclusivity. Like his whole gimmick started where he's like, I'm going to make NXT a safe space for everybody. But he's like doing this while beating the fuck out of people. He's being violent, but he's talking about inclusivity, being like doing all like the woke social justice buzzwords that make people upset.
Joe Gacy in the chat.
Yeah,
so we could get a visual representation of what
I do not like him.
Correct. That's
that's a cult leader.
Now that's kind of where he's evolved the character, and this is something that he's kind of wanted to do for a long time, but because he wasn't on a weekly television show, he couldn't tell this story. Like with the independents, you almost have to reintroduce yourself every time, and you can't tell these long fleshed out stories because you might be wrestling one week for the promotion, the next week you're not. Or it might be months in between events for the promotions, and you're like, I can't tell this story. So we have to tell these condensed, simplified stories. And now that he's kind of fleshed out to where he's creepy, he's got followers who are hooded, he's got all these things.
This sounds so cool, though. Like I have this picture of the Gacy guy and then this D'Angelo guy. Yeah. I mean, I'm into it already, just based on what you're saying. He's saying he has cult people coming to the shows.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, it is a. I need to move my fan because worked up talking about wrestling like a goober.
You should have seen this coming, Grom.
I should have. But yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff. The champion is the son of a Hall of Fame tag team wrestler, Rick Steiner. His son Braun Breaker is the NXT champion. He's just a big shithouse of a dude. It's a colorful thing. And then on the other side of it, you have like these bad guy characters. You have Toxic Attraction, who are 3 attractive women who are toxic, and that's their whole thing. And they are the champions themselves.
I see where they got their name from.
Correct. And it's just, you have all these young, new, fresh names that don't have years of experience, where you have this idea of them. And for some fans, they don't like that. They want to like the people they've liked for years, and that's totally okay. You can like your Kyle O'Reillys and Adam Coles. You can like your Tommaso Ciampas. I also like them, but I also like my Tony D'Angelo, my Tiffany Strattons, my Lash Legends. Like these characters who are characters, because wrestling for me has always been fun.
About the stories too.
Yeah, with the stories and the characters. Like, I mean, Val Venus wasn't tearing down the world, but fuck, I'll remember him getting his pee-pee chopped off. Like, yeah, a thing that
apparently I will now too.
Yeah. But that's the thing is wrestling is about whatever you like. So if you like some characters, NXT and WWE are the way to go. If you want more of a focus on the in-ring action, AEW is the way to go. There's other, like TNA Impact is a, like a third or fourth like level promotion that kind of has a little bit of both. And then, you have your independents, GCW, Defy, who else? Enjoy, where you would just have these like, hey, these are kind of like watch the stars of tomorrow eventually, maybe. So, yeah, the best time to get in wrestling is right about now. I talked about this before. this weekend coming up is a big weekend. It is the Forbidden Door event where AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling are teaming.
I'm interested in this door. I need to know what's on the other side of this door.
It is pro wrestling companies working together. That's what's on the other side. Like, that's where the whole idea is. It's a big time event because for the first time in 20 years, like, two major companies internationally are working together to put on one event. That's really happened before. You know,
is there a large following of wrestling outside of the United States?
I would say it's probably about the same size, like proportionally. Wrestling is a weird niche because we're like Twitch is a niche, right? And content creation where if you go like Ninja, people will know who Ninja is, right? But they may not know who other streamers are.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some like people who know Ninja might know like Nick Merckx. They might know Lupo. They might.
But
know
is there
Tim.
like localized European wrestling and like localized Asian wrestling? Like, are there fan bases in there? That's neat. I never pictured it as like a sport outside of the United States for some reason, and like my mind just got blown.
You have New Japan Pro Wrestling has been around pretty long. I want to say 30 years.
Dang.
Or close to it. You have Mexico is huge Lucha Libre. They have two major companies.
That makes sense.
AAA and CMLL. They've been going at each other for very disgusting tactics and some crime going to take each other
mild
down
amounts of crime.
Yeah. Britain has like a history of it. They have Worldwide of Sports, Big Daddy, Haystacks Calhoun, these big
I do not like that Britain called themselves Big Daddy in terms of wrestling.
That was the wrestler's name was Big Daddy. He was he was like 600 pounds. Yeah. So like these are just mass, and they were larger than life. And then
I see that.
And then it died down a little bit, and then it came back, and then it died out again, and then it came back again, and then it turned out the entire British pro wrestling scene is a bunch of pedophiles and and sexual abusers, and like basically killed off 90% of the area because you had these guys who were being celebrated and everything, and then you're like, yo, everybody here is touching minors and whatnot. And that goes to like Britain, you know, it's their age of consent is 16 for some things.
Yikes.
And it's like, okay, but here's the thing. Y'all did it like no one is like that's not right. It should like we're past the reason of talking about it being legal or not. Fuck that. Like,
right. Like technically legal is not great in the eyes of the public.
Like, you're a 29, 30-year-old guy, you know, getting favors from a 16-year-old girl. Like,
if you have to ask the age of consent, it's not good, homie.
Like, it's just, but they're like, oh, well, it's legal here. Like, that's legal. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's not right. Like, it's a 16-year-old.
No. Yeah.
Right?
No.
And they were just like, what the, like, you know, and it was around the same time that, the speaking out for Twitch was that was all happened at the same time. So, like, I've got my Twitch following and, you know, my following of Twitch stuff and streamers and everything, and then my following of wrestling, and I'm like, y'all are both just fucking, like, y'all are just being exposed, and this is good because we're seeing who the bad people are. Unfortunately, some of the bad people continue to be celebrated. Matt Riddle, you piece of shit.
Hey, fuck Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but he deserves it.
Yeah. And then the ultimate bad guy, the biggest evil in pro wrestling, which is Vince McMahon, is somehow just, you know, still just not being held accountable.
Not surprised at all that he's a piece of shit.
No. Before we get to our,
he's bad. Yeah. Oh man, that's like one of my favorite meme templates and like gifs.
He is
a meme.
He is. I've said this often. I'll say it all forever. He is so evil that God fears him, and the devil owes him rent.
Oh my god!
Like he is that. Like he's covered up murders. He's covered up. he's covered up domestic violence. He's covered up drug stuff. Like, it's not like he basically made the decision to change a company for their stunt, like their rigging for, like, they would do like rappelling from the ceiling and shit like that. It led to the death of Owen Hart. You know, you could say he played a major hand in the deaths of, like, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, damn near 1,000 wrestlers who have died prematurely.
1,000?
Probably. I mean,
yeah,
look, he's been in charge of WWE for over 40 years.
And it blows my mind that he's still in charge.
I mean, he's technically not right now because he's being investigated for quid pro sexual
Nailed
favors
it. Got it in one.
with a paralegal.
2022, the WWE board began investigating a $3 million hush money settlement.
Yep.
I mean, he's gonna pay more hush money. He's rich. That's what he does.
Yeah, I've noticed a habit, like a coincidence lately, that a lot of rich people who pay this hush money, they just take the money and just continue to say what they say. It's like hush money isn't what it used to be.
It's supposed to be for the other way. It's like, hey, I'm going to pay you. Vince McMahon, will pay you $3 million to not talk about how we hooked up and had an affair and you work for me.
Yeah.
And also, hey, meet my friend John. We call him Big Johnny. He would like to have sexual relations with you, and you
don't say no to Big Johnny.
And you shouldn't say no because you do work for me, and you know
you wouldn't say no because of the implication.
Yeah.
Big Johnny's currently wearing brass knuckles.
I like this Always Sunny reference there. It's true. I caught that.
Thank you.
But before we get to the actual topic at hand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I do have one contextual. This is the 4th of July episode. One contextual question. When you think of 4th of July, what do you think of? What's the instant image? Word association. I say 4th of
Bud
July.
Light.
Okay, Bud Light.
I just immediately think of heat and barbecue.
Heat and barbecue.
But it's
I don't have good word association.
Specifically, I just start getting sweaty. You know, I'm like, oh, it's the 4th of July. It's like, oh, it's hot again. Oh, it's like,
I don't like it. Hot and muggy. No.
It's like, the 4th of July, I'm gonna get sunburned. Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get sunburned and I'm gonna eat barbecued food.
Yeah, meat.
I picture getting angry at your family at a backyard barbecue.
Do what?
Getting angry at your family at a backyard barbecue, starting a tense argument.
Yeah, having a tense argument over like bocce ball, you know.
Yeah, it's anything.
Much like Italians do, argue over bocce ball. Yes, this is
true.
I think for me, 4th of July is hot dogs and annoying fireworks. Like,
you're not a fireworks fan, Grum?
I am not a fireworks fan.
I'm actually kind of with you. I'm a fireworks fan at organized fireworks events. I am not a fan of house fireworks. Like, by the time I've done my celebrating, I want to come home and the day be over. But 4th of July is the only one where it's legal for people to just be noisy till the end of, like, till the next week because they bought too many fireworks. They're setting fireworks all week long, you know?
There was, man, what was it a couple weeks? I feel like it was last year, maybe. Yeah, last year, because 4th of July was on a Sunday last year. So we had fireworks Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It was the same way.
And I'm
I remember that, yeah.
Like, it's one day. It's not a week. Like, you spend all these money on fireworks. Go on a trip. Go.
Yeah.
Every dog in the neighborhood is just pissed off every night.
Like, war veterans who are suffering from PTSD. Like,
there's no reason to have them in neighborhoods. There's events everywhere that do awesome fireworks shows everywhere. You look it up. There's probably like 5 happening in downtown areas of anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, just go watch that and then go home
and go home and sleep. Like, I am very. There are 3 things I am publicly anti on this podcast that are that are just like out there anti. I am anti balloons. Balloons are awful.
Okay, now I need to hear this one.
Balloons pollute.
Well, the second one has to be clowns.
I'm anti-balloons because balloons. So like I work in a cemetery, so people will let go of these balloons at like a grave or something like this, and they'll go get caught in the tree, and then I gotta go clean it up.
Okay,
right?
yeah,
Well, hold
that makes
on.
sense.
Okay,
You
so
don't
hold on.
just let go of a balloon. That's your
Wait, hold on.
anti-asshole.
Hold on.
Time out. Time out.
Yeah.
Wait, do people on this podcast know where you're from?
In Philadelphia, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Is it tradition in Philadelphia to put balloons on people's gravestones? I've never seen a balloon at a gravestone.
They'll bring them to like release them, like instead of like releasing a dove, right? It's like the same idea, except if you're just a random person, you can't fucking just get a dove. So
if you're good, you can, but
But people release doves at weddings, not funerals.
no, they do release them at funerals because it represents. So a lot of like, there's one company that's basically
The weddings represent death?
No. Doves represent love. So the idea is that they are loved, right? So it is your loved one is going up to heaven, like they are being released, which is always funny when either A, the dove dies mid-flight, or B, which happens far more frequently. Hold on. A turkey vulture or chicken hawk or some sort of falcon-like bird grabs it out of thin fucking air and eats it right in front of the people. That's always fun.
If
But
that's not love, I don't know what it is.
Grandma's going to hell. Sorry to break it to you.
Wait,
Yeah.
I'm hearing Gurp. I hear Grum's opinion on this, but Gurp, balloons? You ever see balloons at funerals or at a gravestone?
I've witnessed like 3 funerals in my life, and they're
Never
not just
have there
leaving.
been
No,
balloons.
they're not leaving balloons at the gravestone just to like leave them there. They go up, walk over there, and just go. Poof.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
wait,
gotta
you
go
have,
for it.
you've seen
Goes.
it too. Oh, well,
Yeah.
so you're saying you have seen it? Oh,
I
okay,
haven't
thought
seen
you
it,
were-
but I understand what people do. Like I get I
okay.
get the action of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
not
I've
that I
never
get it.
seen-
It's dumb as shit. But
I've never
I
seen
understand
or
what they're
heard of
doing.
that. I've never. Yeah. Okay. But I'm
Yeah.
with you. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's I would anti that too. I
Yeah,
mean, I
and
was
also-
enjoying balloons until this
I thought you
moment.
just walked
They
into
also-
a Party City and you're like, "Fuck you guys."
Are they like what color balloons are there? Are they like black? Are they like a T-Rex or a Buzz Lightyear you get
No,
at
they
the
tend
Dollar
to-
General before you come? You know.
No, it's
Is it one
they'll
of
get
the
like
Spider-Man
Does it
ones where you
does it
blow into the penis
It's
to
just a
like
big,
blow it
it's just
up?
a number one, or a 7. You know, birthday balloon.
it depends. Like sometimes they'll have it like color coordinated. Like if the person passed away after like a bout of like breast cancer, they'll have pink balloons or you know.
Oh, okay.
or
I thought you
color-
were gonna say if they passed away on Christmas, they'd be red and green.
I thought that's what he was saying. He's like, after Memorial Day,
It's
purple's
red,
a
white,
fall
blue.
color. That's what you're gonna have to do there. Can't do white balloons after Labor Day. I'm pretty sure.
No, there's it's funny you say that. There's a funeral home that follow that very strictly. The day after Memorial Day and the day up till Labor Day, if they have a funeral, they'll be wearing white, but it is black from the day after Labor Day to the day to before Memorial Day. Like I'm like, oh, is it? They just follow. They're very focused on their fashion.
They're very fashionable.
Very
They're
fashionable.
fashionable.
The other reason why I'm anti-balloon, so when you release a balloon into the air, it just kind of keeps going until it pops.
Mhm.
Unless a bird sees it, and then a bird goes, "Oh, let me go get it," and it goes and eats it, and then you just find a dead bird with a balloon in its stomach.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Also, I'm anti-hippo. Keep them away from me.
Hippos are terrifying,
They're
and
terrifying.
you should be afraid of them.
I have been bringing the awareness of the terror that is a hippo. They run underwater, not like us, where we're like running to work out. They literally run 40 miles an hour underwater because they're so.
I didn't know that, and I hate that I know that now.
Just
They
imagine the
killers?
skeletons going under the ship in Pirates of the Caribbean on the bottom of the ocean, but it's just like 40 hippos.
No. There is a level in Hitman where you can feed someone to a hippo as an assassination. It
Yes.
is terrifying.
Yeah, they
Look
kill.
up a video of a hippo eating a watermelon, and then next time you're at the
No.
store, just slap a watermelon and be like, oh yeah, that's not easy. That's not easy.
It's not easy. And then I'm anti-fireworks because they are loud. They don't serve a purpose residentially. They are fun once in a while. You don't go to a fireworks show just for the fireworks. You go for the other things that are there. You go for like a carnival, and then they do the fireworks. Or you go to a baseball game, and then they have the fireworks. Like, fireworks themselves, they don't last very long. They're kind of unsatisfying unless, like, you know, somebody's putting in effort to make designs out of them.
One of the coolest fireworks
Go ahead.
One of the coolest fireworks I ever bought was like $2, and it came in a 4-pack, and it was like this little disc, and you lit the end, and it's basically like a firework Beyblade that you put on the ground, and it just spins a bunch of flames around. And I sat there and I just watched it, and like, this was worth it.
I bought one of those too one time, years ago, at least 15 years ago, and I sat it on the ground. I did the instructions. It wasn't supposed to fly. It went straight up into the air and like hit a tree and just started spinning in the leaves of the tree. I'm like, this is the end. The end
Did
is
you
over.
put it upside down?
I don't think
Because that
so.
screams to me upside down, where like it should have force going down, and you just went. You made a missile. You created a missile.
I made the RPG.
So the reason I bring up.
Wait, hold on. What if we went to what if Grum went to a carnival and it was fireworks night and they had a pet hippo there that did shows and there was like a clown blowing balloons? I mean, what would happen?
I mean, that's it.
I'm either leaving. I'm leaving. I'm either leaving under my own free will, or I'm leaving in the back of a cop car.
You're not leaving fast. That hippo's sprinting at you 40 miles an hour.
See, that's the thing. I'm leaving as soon as I know that there's a hippo there, because if that hippo gets out, it's done. It is done. Here's the thing. Hippos are literally ruining Central America because the cocaine hippos.
Did you say the cocaine hippos?
The cocaine hippos.
Yes. You heard him correctly.
Google the cocaine hippos, and then we could talk about that after we watch the thing. But yeah, they're ruining Central America because El Chapo had a bunch of hippos as pets, and like a significant amount of hippos, enough that if released for some reason or got out, could start fucking and populate an ecosystem that they were not native to.
Give you one guess as to what happened.
They got out and they started fucking and populating an ecosystem they were not native to. And they are fucking everything up because there ain't shit that can kill them.
Well, the first article I see about cocaine hippos is that Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos are now legally recognized as people the U.S. courts find.
Yeah, that's so
you have to respect them as U.S. citizens, Grub. These are people, not just animals.
I don't respect a lot of U.S. citizens, so that changes nothing.
Yeah, right? Like, what
they can be recognized as people or interested persons with legal rights.
Yeah, I believe that was so that they could try. They did that so that they could try Pablo Escobar under some other stuff or something like that. It was They don't care about cocaine hippo rights. No. But the reason I bring up 4th of July, it is the 4th of July episode, and thus not surprisingly, none of us had said anything about America. No red, white, and blue, which kind of goes with the times of today, where we're just kind of like over the whole nationalism stuff.
I could have said some stuff about it, but I chose not to. I chose to keep it lighter.
Yeah. But in 2003, a very still fresh post 9/11. I don't think Saddam Hussein was killed yet at this point in 2003. But in 2003, WWE decided that, well, we're going to spice up America. And we're going to debut a character by the name of Mr. America, except it wasn't a new character. In fact, it was a very well-known character. In 2003, Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon had a feud where they would wrestle each other at WrestleMania 19. And then Hulk Hogan lost the match at some point, and Vince McMahon was like, "You are suspended until you are no longer going to appear on WWE television until you're going to wait out the rest of your contract, and then your contract's going to expire, and you're done. You're done, pal." That was on screen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2003, they started having little promos, some videos about a Mr. America character.
Okay.
What we're going to watch is the debut of Mr. America.
I'm very excited.
and the only pay-per-view match of Mr. America. And it involves Roddy Piper, so that's back-to-back weeks of Roddy Piper. And it also includes the debut of Zack Gowen, who is a very memorable wrestler for a very particular reason. And you two will find out why after this on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast.
Ad time. That's right. We got a little bit of ad time right here for Dorkside Ring content. You want some watch-along stuff, some stuff you can't get on the main feed, early stuff. You want podcast episodes early. That's right. You go to support.grum.tv. You can get these episodes early. Normally Wednesday or Thursday go up every other weekend. I also have exclusive watch-alongs from past episodes with my guests. Coming up, we've got the Vampiro Graveyard match against the Kiss Demon. We've got the Custody of Dominic match. That's right. We've got all that. Support.grum.tv. Go there now. For as low as $1, you can become a patron. Get all the fun stuff. Also, go to grum.tv to join the greater community at Dorkside Ring. Follow us on Twitter and at I am Grum to follow me on Twitter. I appreciate it. Now back to the show.
Are we allowed to say ass on this podcast?
Absolutely.
I've said fuck a lot, so I hope so.
As long as you don't use them in succession.
Fuck ass.
Taking names.
We're back on the Dork Side of the Ring. First impressions. Gerp, we'll go with you first. First impressions of Mr. America.
Got a great ass. We were just talking about it, and I can't help but agree. I think Schmoogoogle said it the best, where he's like, that's a good ass that he's got.
Yeah, I think that's what I said.
I'm pretty sure.
He's
So-
he's like, you know what? I'm gonna slap my butt. I'm gonna tell Vince McMahon where he can kiss.
It's a very good rivalry between the two of them, where you have this massive personality in Hulk Hogan and this massive personality in Vince McMahon, and the fact that they both know what's going on, and there's the MacGuffin of having to take off the mask to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good story. You know what? I'm interested, and I want to watch more to find out the conclusion of Mr. America.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that. Shmoo, what about you? First impressions of Mr. America.
I'm just confused what Gerp was talking about with the Hulk Hogan statement. Like, I didn't see that, but I watched Mr. America come out there on the stage. I didn't see Hulk Hogan, but which is weird. I mean, I've never been introduced to Mr. America. This is the first for me, and this is a 4th of July podcast, so that was really good. So that's a new wrestler I've never heard of. You know, Hulk Hogan's a household name, but Mr. America, I mean, that's just different. He just comes in and made a scene despite being like a brand new wrestler. That's pretty cool. I mean, like, has there ever been a wrestler in the history of time that made headway like that, Grum? So
soon? Brock Lesnar took a couple of months, but yeah, that's probably about the next closest.
Beat Roddy
Goldberg.
Piper in his first showing. I mean, his first outing.
Yeah, in
And then
under
Piper
5
got
minutes.
piped
Piper got piped.
at the end. What was the big guy's name?
Sean O'Hare.
Sean O'Hare. Okay, he doesn't have
He did have
another name.
hair.
No,
He doesn't have like a nickname.
No. Well,
Harry
What was
Sean.
his? What's his deal?
so Sean O'Hare, he got introduced. So he trained at the power plant for WCW, and they're like, yeah, this guy's in great shape, and there's other guys who are in great shape, so we're gonna put them all on TV way before they were ready, like 2000, right? And they all kind of got successful real quick and thought they were the shit, and they were just kind of not really. They were just kind of big guys doing a lot of moves, and people were like, yeah, they're great, yeah, but kind of missed the whole point of wrestling.
Mhm.
So 2003 and 2002, some of them start getting like reintroduced, and they get properly trained and shit like that. Or I should say they finish getting trained. And then Sean O'Hare re-debuts as Roddy Piper's protege, and then Roddy Piper goes away, and Sean O'Hare kind of becomes this like devil's advocate type of guy, where like
Interesting.
he has these these things where like he tells people like things, and he's just like, "But I'm not telling you anything you didn't already know." Like basically going like, "You know this, but you don't want to admit it. I'm going to tell you it so that you can, I'm not telling you anything you didn't already know."
It's the psychological game that he's playing.
Right. And it was interesting, and then he kind of goes away. He wasn't wrestling. He unfortunately took his own life. I want to say in 2012.
Oh man.
And like real young. Let me see. I want to make sure I get the year right. 2014 is what he.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate for many reasons, because I believe the rumor was that he was in the closet and kind of he didn't really
have the support he needed, basically.
Yeah. Like, let's see. In 2004, he's arrested and charged with multiple counts of assault after a brawl at a nightclub. Was only convicted of one count. He was, in 2007, was charged with aggravated assault and battery for a fight at a bar, but the charge was later dismissed. 2009, he was charged with domestic battery and criminal trespassing after being arrested for allegedly assaulting his girlfriend. And then 2011, he was arrested again, charged with battery, later released on a $1,900 bail. He was also going through depression and substance abuse stuff. Like, it's one of those things of it's one of those things that you're just like, all right, like something's off with the guy, and he's dealing with something deeper than just the depression.
Right.
And like the people who knew him talked about that, was like, no, like people are like, well, was he gay? And they're like, no, I don't think he was. Like, he never felt comfortable telling us that, and like that's why people kind of project that onto it. We're like, all right, well, maybe he was, and he just couldn't accept that, and that's why, but like ultimately, like he was dealing with other stuff, depression, substance abuse, and like he got into mixed martial arts, and I think he was doing kickboxing. And I think he was
professionally, or just as a workout. Okay.
He fought 6 times, went 4-2.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if like any notable names. He fought in Pride. Every fight didn't go past the first round. Like,
dang.
He had 3 knockouts, 1 submission wins, and then lost by knockout once and lost by submission once. Like, there could have been something there. He lost 4 times in kickboxing though. So.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But he I was just looking at something else on his Wikipedia. So he that's what happened with Sean O'Hare.
Man.
But back to what happened with Mr. America.
Yeah.
So that was Judgment Day 2003, which was in the middle of May, maybe tail end of May. And Mr. America would then be in a 6-man tag match, teaming up with Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle against the world's greatest tag team and Big Show.
Oh, dang.
And Mr. America, after the match, pulled up his mask and showed everybody that he was Hulk Hogan.
What?
Oh.
He was Hulk Hogan. And he goes, shh. And then he quits. Like, in real life. Hulk Hogan quits. Hulk Hogan quits the WWE.
What? Mr. America. Wait. No, sorry.
Amazing.
Oh.
No, it turns out Hulk Hogan and Mr. America, they are the same. They are the same
I just
person.
can't wrap my head around
I didn't
it.
realize they had twin brothers.
No, they weren't. They're the same person.
Oh.
But yeah, Hulk Hogan quit. So after he quits, Vince McMahon comes on TV, shows the footage of him pulling his mask off, and he goes, so for that reason, Hulk Hogan, you're fired. But he already quit.
quit.
So it was just a way to explain his storyline.
An actual this wasn't planned. Like Hulk Hogan quitting. Like he
No.
actually just ripped off the mask and was like, "I'm done."
Basically, yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. He was upset with like the payouts for some of the stuff that was on his return, so he was like, "Man, like I'm
he's
Hulk
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Hulk Hogan. You can't pay me like I'm a new guy named Mr. America. I am Hulk Hogan."
Right, and now he's showing up in commercials for Rena
That
Center.
is pretty crazy though, because like I wonder if he let payroll know like that he was Hulk Hogan. That way he got paid like Hulk Hogan, because he was saying he was Mr. America,
planned,
you know, and they
right?
get paid less, you know. I'm really playing into this. I hope you guys know that.
Yeah. No, it's no, he like it was one of those things of like as a so I'm 11. Yeah, I'm 11 when this happened, so I'm like prime wrestling viewing.
Mhm.
SmackDown was a show I got to watch because it was on at 8, so I could watch I could watch the whole show before being told to go to bed. It was on UPN, which was easy to watch because it was a cable show, not just or it was a broadcast channel, but it wasn't a cable channel,
Like a paid one. Yeah.
so like we were able to watch UPN. I'm like, yeah, wrestling. And whereas like Raw was on USA and TNN, which, you know, and it started at 9 o'clock, and my mom's like, "No, you're not even gonna start watching it. Go to bed." You know, so I got to watch SmackDown. So for me, I'm like, "Oh my God, it's Hulk!" I was like the crowd. I'm like, "Yeah, Hulk Hogan, yeah!" You know, and I'm like, "This is great." I loved it. This is like my wheelhouse of like my.
Were you a Hulkamaniac as a kid?
Not really, because for me,
Okay.
Hulk Hogan came back to WWE in 2002. So like I've kind of been a fan, and like my favorites were like The Undertaker, Big Show. I like the tall guys. I like the Kane because I was always the tall kid. So I would be like, I'm the Undertaker. I liked The Rock. I liked Stone Cold. I liked all those guys. And then when like I got a little older, this is around the time where I started like appreciating like the talking aspect of pro wrestling,
Right.
so like
Not just the big buff guys.
yeah. I was like, oh, you know, I really like The Rock now. Like I really like Paul. You know, I like this Brock Lesnar debut. I'm like, oh, he's great. I like Kurt Angle because he's funny, but also he can wrestle good. Like, you know,
Yeah.
And you know, Hulk Hogan just was kind of cool because I'd heard story like my uncles to talk about Hulk Hogan. He was still wrestling. For a decent bit, but I didn't watch him because I wasn't watching WCW. And by the time I started watching WCW, he wasn't around anymore. So I was like, okay, I'll never see Hulk Hogan. Okay, cool. You know.
But you did.
Then he came back. He came
Mr.
back
America.
and he came back with the NWO in 2002. He hits. They beat up Stone Cold and they. He drove a Mack truck into The Rock's ambulance.
What?
Yeah, like just it's a.
Does The Rock own an ambulance, or was he riding in the ambulance?
He was in the ambulance. He was in the ambulance.
Amazing.
And they stopped it. They're like, and then just Hulk Hogan in a Mack truck just flooring right through it. And it's
now
like,
I need to see that.
It's just
That's next week.
Just I'll show you guys.
Oh,
afterwards.
that's great.
But yeah, no, it's I just took it. It's just like, and I'm like, he hit The Rock, boo, boo, and then like maybe like a month and a half later, he's a good guy, and I'm cheering him because I'm an idiot kid. Because I'm like, he apologized. Yeah,
He apologized.
He said sorry. His
Rock made him apologize.
He's wrestling with The Rock. Ah!
Oh, they wrestled together? That's great.
Yeah. And then he became world champion, and then got beat by The Undertaker, which I was like, awesome.
Ooh.
Because
Whoa, you talking about the Undertaker that threw Mankind in Hell in a Cell? That one?
Yeah.
Gerp, I watched that.
I showed Gerp the whole match.
It was fantastic.
I said, Gerp, have you watched it? Because what we watched last time was Chucky interrupting Rick Steiner.
Such a good memory.
And afterwards, I'm like, you should. And then because Gerp's like, I've never watched anything wrestling, so I showed Gerp. I was like, all right, Gerp, the first match you have to watch then is the first match I ever watched, which was Undertaker
The Hell in a
Mankind
Cell?
in the Hell in a Cell match, and he was like, "Oh, this match is over." Like, I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Wait, he's getting up. He's climbing back up." Gets thrown through the cell. Oh, this match is over. He's not. This match is over.
I remember you specifically commenting on my face because my jaw dropped multiple times.
Yeah.
And I went,
He's like, he's not dead. No,
Amazing.
he's alive. He's still alive.
that was just good content.
Great.
The Undertaker is one of those wrestlers I also knew about who has always seemed really cool.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
In character, yes. Out of character.
Oh, out of character, he's terrible.
He's one of those.
Oh,
He's
okay.
He's
very,
a rich white guy. I mean, what do you need to say?
He's a rich white guy from Texas.
There you go. Even more.
Yeah.
He probably went to an NRA auction and bought an RPG.
I think you meant IRA.
Yes. The IRS held an auction.
While dodging the IRS. But yeah, no. So we watched the debut of Mr. America, which, very simply put, was a surprise to everybody. We started watching. Stephanie McMahon knew something we didn't know, and she's like, "Dad, don't come to the show. Don't just stay. Just don't come. And he's like, "Hey, I'm here to see Mr. America. I'm here to see Mr. America." And she's like, "All right, look. Just remember, I'm your daughter, and I did a good. Also, I didn't know who he was.
Signed his contract.
She didn't know who he was?
Sight unseen, mind you.
Okay.
Sight unseen.
Okay.
And,
So was she high up in the company as well, like as an executive, to where she could sign people?
So on screen, she was the general manager of SmackDown. So she ran SmackDown. So she gets to say who she gets to book matches, sign people, fire people, stuff like that. And so she's like, "Yeah, Mr. America, this is great." And then she finds out, obviously, it's Hulk Hogan, and she's like, "Oh shit, that's Hulk Hogan."
Every time you say that, I mean, my heart skips a beat. I can't believe they were the same person.
Look, do you know what's great? It's one of the best tropes in pro wrestling is the guy gets fired, comes back with a mask.
That's so good. I love that.
So
it's Batman. It's essentially Batman. He even said he was justice.
Wait, let's not forget about that. Mr. America had that tagline, and I feel like Batman kind of stole that from him. I mean, he came out there and he was like, "I am justice."
He also said he's liberty and he's freedom, justice, and liberty for all. Or, liberty for all.
And he said he was gonna kick his ass from sea to shining sea.
Yeah. The tagline
has just Captain America's mask. It's not even changed. It's just old Captain America's mask.
It really was. It was a blue mask with a star right in the face.
Yeah.
He also said he was like, "I got one thing. God bless America,
brother or dude."
And then, just the amounts of dudes, dude.
The dudes were always tacked on after the sentence too. Like it wasn't a part of the sentence. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to say it.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened to the legless kid?
So Zack Gowen. This is Zack Gowen's debut. So there's a funny story about Zack Gowen. They were looking for there was a one-legged wrestler that they wanted to bring in for this, or for something, right? And he was pretty good. He was like a 20-year pro. And so they go and like, all right, hey, like contact the one-legged wrestler, thinking there's only one of them.
Oh.
There was two of them. There was the one they wanted, and then there was Zack Gowen. So when Zack Gowen shows up, he's like 22, 23 years old.
He was
that young, not that experienced.
He looked like 17 in that.
Wasn't that
There's
experienced.
an image of Brock Lesnar and Zack Gowen.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I watched that last time on the show.
Oh, apparently it's explicit.
Painful.
So Zack Gowen shows up, and they're like, "You got the wrong one-legged wrestler," which is a wild thought to be like, you got because how many wrestlers are wrestling with one leg? That's
one is a stretch. Two is like an anomaly.
Right. So they're like, well, shit, we signed this guy to a contract. Like,
no.
might as well do something with him. So this is the debut and the introduction of the character, and he kind of becomes the surrogate for the feud for Vince McMahon, because when Hulk Hogan gets fired or quits, they're kind of left with Vince McMahon like needing to be this evil maniacal guy, and he now becomes like irritated at Zack Gowen to where he's making Zack Gowen's life a living hell, and he's arm wrestling him, and he's losing to Zack Gowen in an arm wrestling contest, and he kicks his fake leg out from underneath him. And then he makes him wrestle Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar murders him. It is uncomfortable to watch. It is
it was very uncomfortable to watch,
because it is a guy who is Brock Lesnar, who is 6'4", 6'5", 285 pounds of shredded muscle, 325 of muscle, who knows, beating up a one-legged wrestler and like bludgeoning him, beating him. He is covered in blood. His mother is in the front row, and he is like taking the blood off of Zack Gowen's face, and he's
insane.
He's wiping his chest with it right in front of his mom, and like he just damn near kills him, in character, and then the next week throws him down a flight of stairs.
While he's in a full cast wheelchair.
I just watched him fall down those stairs while you were saying that on YouTube on the side.
Yeah. So
not fall, he was thrown.
He was thrown, yeah. And then he never seen. And apparently he was kind of a dick. Like not
the kid?
The kid, yeah. Apparently he was kind of a dick, which it's like, what the fuck, man? Like
you were supposed to be the guy people rooted for.
Yeah. Like I've heard like there's stories like people met him in person or something like that, and he was an absolute dick.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Zach.
That happened, and he was never seen again.
Yeah, he got thrown. That was him getting written off the program. He got thrown. He was in a wheelchair and pushed down a flight of steps.
What a guy! What a run!
Yeah.
To think Mr. America put his stamp of approval on him,
Yeah. He's like, we got to make something out of this.
Yeah.
Like he beat Vince McMahon in a match. Like he rolled him up 1, 2, 3 and beat him, and that's Yeah. So it was quite the
character arc.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So going back to like that they do this idea. They've done this idea a couple times. Dusty Rhodes, I think, was the first one to do it. Maybe not the first one, but I know he was the first one to do it on like a national level. So he got suspended by the NWA for like 4 months. So
the NWA,
the National Wrestling
IRA.
Alliance. No, NWA, National Wrestling Alliance.
They're a band, sir.
The IRA.
You're not wrong.
Ice Cube came out here and told them, nah, you get the fuck out of here, my dude.
No, the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA, suspended Dusty Rhodes, right? And he's gone. But the Midnight Rider would show up almost immediately after. And the whole thing was like, that's Dusty. Like all the bad guys are like, that's Dusty Rhodes. What are you talking about? Like, what the fuck? No. And the good guys are like, no, that's the Midnight Rider. What are you talking about?
That's amazing.
So it's like, it's similar to this where like all the bad guys are like, that's Hulk Hogan. And all the good guys are like, no, this is Mr. America. What are you talking about? But currently, they're running a similar storyline with a character by the name of Ezekiel. Now, Ezekiel is the younger brother of former WWE superstar Elias. But Kevin Owens is the only person who goes to be like, no, you're Elias. You shaved your beard. You're wearing different clothes. You're Elias. And then he's like, brother, I don't know what to tell you. I'm Ezekiel. Like, and
honestly, the difference between beard and him not bearded is pretty big. I'm looking at it.
So
whatever happened to Elias?
So the thing is, right? So Elias in 2021, they had these like vignettes and these video packages of him burying himself, right? Like he's digging a grave and he's burying somebody, and the reveal is that on the headstone it says Elias, but he's standing right next to the grave, right? The idea being like, I'm gonna change. So when he comes back, he's like, yeah, no, my brother needed time to not wrestle. Like he wanted to step away. And Kevin Owens like, you're Elias. Like he's like getting gaslit by not just the good guys.
Ezekiel posted an image of him and Elias together.
Correct.
On Instagram.
Yeah. So, and the thing was, he was using Elias's Twitter handle.
Oh, Twitter.
Amazing.
So Ezekiel was tweeting from @Elias WWE, and everybody's like, "Wait, why are you using the same thing?" He goes, "Oh, Elias just gave me his Twitter account because he got rid of it, and it already has the check mark, like, you know." And they're like,
Amazing.
"Oh, okay." So but the thing is like, whereas like with Hulk Hogan, Mr. America, where the good guys were like, "Yeah, no, that's Mr. America," and the bad guys were like, "No, that's Hulk Hogan." The bad guys now are like, hey man, no, hey man, you're wrong. Like that's not Elias. That's Ezekiel.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens, who is in character, in kayfabe, in canon, like the biggest lying bastard of all time. He will tell you one thing, right? So he gets mad. He is now mad. He is gaslit to hell, because everyone's like, no, that's not Elias. You're wrong. And he's like, no, it's Elias. I know it's Elias. You're all idiots. But he's also mad because Ezekiel is lying to everybody, and and everybody's cheering him. Meanwhile, he lies, and then he's the bad guy. So he's
That's
mad.
amazing.
He's like, you're a liar.
Bad liar.
So it's everybody against Kevin Owens.
Correct, right?
That's fantastic.
And it's funny because the other bad guys, when they're around him, will be like, yeah, no, like, dude, that's definitely Elias. And then when he leaves, they're like, no, dude, he's wrong. Like, that's definitely Ezekiel. It's definitely Ezekiel. So this past week on Raw, they did a yeah, exactly. They did a segment where Elias did a concert. His whole gimmick is that he plays guitar, like, and he sings and whatnot. So they do this backstage thing where they're both on the ends of couches talking to each other. They dap up, they shake hands, and then Elias goes and does his concert out in the ring, and Kevin Owens like, no, you are not, you are not, you're the same person. Take the beard off. And he's like, no, I'm not. Like he's like, no, I'm dude. You need to leave my brother alone, Kevin. We used to be friends, but you're acting like a jerk.
That's amazing.
And then he hits him with a guitar, and then Kevin Owens goes backstage, and he's in pain, and he's like talking, and then Ezekiel comes up, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna fight you. I don't care who shows up. I'm fighting you. Ezekiel. I don't care if it's Ezekiel. I don't care if it's Elias. And I don't care if it's Elrod. I don't care who it is. And then WWE goes and puts it on the graphic. It is Kevin Owens on Monday, this coming Monday. Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel or Elias or Elrod. And I'm like, oh my god, are they gonna make an Elrod character? Because that would be hilarious.
So good. That's so good.
Where I'm just like, that is so good. And like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, it's definitely,
they know
they're definitely
content.
It's definitely the same guy.
Oh yeah.
However, it would be hilarious
if they
had a twin brother.
That's so good.
I mean, what do we know? We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I just wanted to come out with the beard, roll under the ring, and then come out without the beard on the other side.
The joke has been, I cannot wait for Ezekiel and Elias to be the tag team champions. Because
that's amazing.
It would be incredible if they were both, if they just did that.
Oh, that's so good.
But yeah, my just a fever dream would be that he has a twin brother, and Elrod comes out, followed by Ezekiel. So you're like, wait a second. Which one's Elias? Because we can't. What the fuck?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like, wait a second. One of them is, and then that joke is like, wait, he might not be Elias, but also he might be Elias. Which one's like? That's what I would.
That's gonna
like
be
to,
amazing.
That would be.
Yeah,
what
I'm gonna have
like
to actually keep up with that.
Yeah. So that's what's happening on Monday Night Raw. Just incredible.
So they've been keeping up with this idea of comebacks for a while. Then I mean, this is like June 20th. This is 3 days ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he debuted the night after WrestleMania, which was April 4th, April 5th.
That's what it says. Yeah, right.
So
here.
so it's almost 2 months, and it's just they're just leaning into it how ridiculous it is.
I love
That's the best part.
Yeah, like I always say wrestling is more fun when no one's taking it serious. If you take it serious, you're not going to enjoy the fact that they just rebrand. Because the thing is like wrestling had at first people were like, dude, this is dumb, and I'm like, no, this is perfect. Because wrestling fans are snobs.
Dumb.
No, they're. I mean, yes, but they're so smart they're dumb, right? Like,
Yes.
They will chant So there was a character Bray Wyatt who was a Bayou cult leader, call me Switchblade type character, and he debuted. He was real interesting in NXT, and then he debuted in the main roster. And people are an entire arena is chanting Husky Harris, which was his previous gimmick. And like the thing is like, so my thing is like, all right, we already know how do you compete. Like it's a smart move by them because they're like, all right, this is definitely they would just chant Elias at this guy. But what if we made his gimmick that he's obviously Elias, but he's not? Like now you going chanting Elias at him is now being invested in this. It goes into the story, so you have to be invested in the story one way or the other. And it's like, it's so fucking smart.
It is. It's a absolutely genius move on their part.
It's just like, damn, why can't you be smart all the time with this type of, or be this this smart and creative? But yeah, like it's good. It's good stuff. I really do hope that Elias and Elroy come out and we're like, wait a second, hold on. Which one is so good. Which one's Ezekiel? I'm confused.
It's Zack Gowen. Comes out of nowhere.
Zack Gowen. Yeah. I was trying to think like what from the Miss America the debut segment, like we talked about him like saying God bless America as a catchphrase. Also the 24-inch Patriots instead of the 24-inch Pythons, as Hulk Hogan normally says.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, he normally says the 24-inch Pythons when referring to his arms, and he called them the Patriots.
I expected a football team to come out.
Yeah, what are you going to do with the 24? And then there's 2 feet tall Patriots.
Just march out.
But then in the match, Judgment Day, he pulls his mask up to bite Roddy Piper on the forehead.
Yeah, a bite on the forehead. Can we talk about that move? How do you get purchased with your teeth on a forehead? It's
must have a fat forehead.
Yeah, like why is that your option?
You just want to bite the guy on the forehead. I don't, chaotic urge. I mean, look, my girlfriend bites my arm chaotically. Like we'll just be hanging out.
I think what Gerp is asking is, how can one bite a forehead?
That's
why.
Exactly what I'm asking. Is like there are better places to bite.
He doesn't believe that the teeth can bite.
Bite the back of your hand. Bite the back of your hand.
Yeah, that's doable. Like
no, but it's the same.
This is the part of the podcast where everybody bites back in their hand.
Yeah, like
it's the same idea.
I can do it. Yeah,
it's the same idea.
But I feel like there's less fold on a forehead.
That's kind of the point.
Look at my forehead folds right now. Look at that. Look at big one.
Yeah,
right there.
I don't got
it's
forehead folds.
Easily
I'm
grabbable.
youthful. I'm full of
That's
young
because you're
life.
young. You're youthful.
Yeah.
Grabbable.
Life hasn't beat you down enough. Damn it.
Frown more. Is it a frown? Or be surprised? Be surprised more.
Be surprised. Be surprised and disappointed.
Yeah.
Scowl more. Damn it. Stop being neutral.
And then Mr. America will come and bite you on the forehead.
Is it a Christmas miracle? Will Mr. America come and bite me on the forehead?
Wait.
Only if I've been good this 4th of July?
What? Every 4th of July.
Have you been enough of a patriot?
Have you been enough of... If not, Mr. America will show up and kick your ass from sea to shining sea.
If you don't set fireworks off till 3 a.m. every morning on the week of 4th of July,
Mr. America will
Mr.
come.
America sneaks into your room with his 24-inch
Patriots.
Oh, that's
Bites your
uncomfortable for a threat.
Can we talk about on his
He's like, that's
debut?
not the only thing that's 24 inches.
Too much. What do you even do with that? Where do you hold it?
Can we talk about Mr. America? Somebody brought an entire flag to the show. Mr. America did not walk out with a flag. Somebody had a flag on a staff in the crowd. Okay, I don't understand how that was allowed.
Zack Gowen?
No.
He gave it to Zack Gowen.
Oh,
Yeah. He did not come out with one in his debut. Somebody had one in the crowd. They gave it to him.
On May 1st.
On May 1st, by the way. Not July 4th, not Memorial Day, not,
You're telling me that someone went through security at the event with a 6-foot pole with an American flag on it, and they're like, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yes. And then Mr. America Hulk Hogan gets it, starts waving it around while there are tons of confetti being dropped from the sky to the point where people are hard to see, and then he takes it and shoves it into his pants.
That's the biggest power move I've ever seen, is a man flexing in a dab with an American flag hanging out of his pants.
Resting on the 24-inch Patriot.
Yeah.
I'm just envisioning his 24-inch Patriot grabbing it and holding it. No more repel, I got it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, brother, I got it.
There's a bicep curl.
But yeah, Jesus Christ. The amount of patriotism, nationalism, like Cody Rhodes tried to do something similar in 2021. Yeah, 2021, where he was talking about...
Not the time to be doing that.
So he was in a feud with a former British like Olympic boxer turned pro wrestler who knocked out Cody Rhodes and then put the Union Jack over Cody Rhodes.
No, not today. You can't do that.
So Cody Rhodes, that everyone's like, oh no, they're going to make this about America versus Brit. They're going to make this about America, and he's going to defend America while the bad guy's talking about the bad shit in America. Like the bad guys on Twitter going like I have to stay in shape because in America I have to pay for my health care. I don't have to do that in Britain, or talking about like all these things that are bad, and we're like, correct? Yeah. Well, no, we're not going to boo you for that, pal. Like we're on your side. Thank you for pointing.
You're not the bad guy. I would also like to not pay for healthcare.
And then Cody Rhodes comes back out and like he's talking, and he's like, the joke is that Cody Rhodes ended racism with this promo because Cody Rhodes is married to a black woman. They have a child. A little girl. He talks about in this promo about how he doesn't want his daughter to see him laying unconscious under another country's flag, that he wants his daughter to understand that it's okay to be proud of who she is, where she's from, that she is half black, half white, American princess. And he starts crying. And then the camera cuts to the only person wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt in the audience. Like as if the guy was planted.
The plant. Yes.
And I'm like yes, like wear those type of shirts out in public. Spread yes.
But it's like, yeah, it's
but
weird.
like, but on their end, it feels weird that you picked him.
Yeah.
To show.
That's amazing.
Because he's just like this, right? He's just like, lightly applauding the promo. But like, meanwhile, Cody Rhodes is like, he's like, she will know both identities and shun neither. And it's like,
okay,
Cody, what does this have to do with the wrestling? What does this have to do with the wrestling, my guy? Can we get to the? Can you just say this guy knocked me out and left me unconscious, and I want to kick his ass? But yeah,
I got beat by a British guy, and he's racist.
And then, so here's the thing: not only is he fighting like the British man is a black man, so he's already like,
oh come on!
It's just like, who thought this was a good idea? And then afterwards, right, it comes out that, that was a spur of the moment. I felt that. And then, like, he said that, like, the next day. And then as the week goes on, people are like, dude, that was awful. That was atrocious. What the talk about tone deaf. Like, we're talking about a country that has got so many fucking issues. And you're out here being like, I'm proud to be an American. It's like,
yeah.
Like, like, and then he's like, well, we ran it by some focus groups. And we're like, I'm like, yo, what? You decided?
Wait, I thought he said it was spur of the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only was it not for spur of the moment afterwards, it was focus grouped. You took it to
Who are
this.
your focus groups? White
your
Texans
focus?
at the NRA auction?
IRA.
The IRA convention. Like, what do we do? Like, man, like, Cody Rhodes, a great talent. Big miss on that.
Yeah.
Just wild. But yeah, so that's
Good
like,
for him for ending racism.
yeah, ended racism. Mr. America in 2003
As
did
he
not
went
care
and
about
punched a black guy.
that. Yeah. Mr. America, on the other hand, continuing to support the American elitism and
Man. Who knew Cody
support
Rhodes
the
had
troops.
so much in common with Abraham Lincoln?
Do a choke slam?
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. But he did end racism, much like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Streets are saying that Cody Rhodes is the Abraham Lincoln of today.
Of our time.
Of our time. But final thoughts, Gerp, on Mr. America and today's episode of The Dork Side.
Mr. America is definitely not up my alley with the whole patriotism thing, but I definitely think that the character arc for the time was very well done and interesting. I think compared to my last episode I was on with the abysmal mess of Chucky interrupting, this was a good event of Hulk Hogan coming back, and it was just a treat of seeing him and his blonde mustache peeking out under a mask and being like, I don't know who it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it does all the same mannerisms, everything. It's just, you put him on a
Calling
mask,
people
you're like,
brother and dude.
dude, I'll kick your ass from sea to shining she, dude.
With his mullet flapping in the background.
The skullet. What about you, Shmoo? Final thoughts, anything we didn't cover with Mr. America?
I don't know. I loved every second of it. I don't have a lot of wrestling knowledge, like I said at the beginning of the podcast. And I mean, just so much happened in such a short amount of time that I'm so interested in more wrestling stories as this goes on, because we saw Mr. America, we saw Vince McMahon, we saw Piper like rip a man's leg off and then like toss it behind him, and the face he had was just. And I was surprised, and he was surprised.
Let it be known that was also like a 10-second clip, and they just moved past it, and no one talked about the leg being thrown off.
Yeah, they're like, the guy from the crowd joined the stage. He's ripping off his leg. Yeah, and then just McMahon's reaction to everything. Even though he's pure evil, just the facial expressions just get to me every time, and. Man, I loved it.
Okay,
I loved every second of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the ultimate, like, all right, I see what's, okay. All right. I got something for you. I got,
okay.
like, all right. Like, the ultimate, like, no, I've been fucked. Like, I gotta save face now here. Like, all right.
It was that moment where Zack push down the stairs was written in stone.
Yeah, he had a chance, and then
the second he slapped him upside with the America flag.
Yeah, no, they're like, we're throwing this man down. It's down a flight of stairs. But yeah, so I think that's it. I think we did good. Shmoo, if you would like, let the people know where they can find you, what you got working on, anything you would like to advertise, bring awareness to, and the such.
Yeah, one more time, catch me on Twitch, play all sorts of stuff, try to stream as often as I can. And here on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to our actual play RPG, The Monster Mashers. First episode's out. We stream it sometimes on Saturdays, but you can listen to at least by the time this episode of The Dork Side of the Ring comes out, there should be at least 2 episodes of Monster Mashers up on Spotify.
Hell yeah. Gerp, same for you. Plug your shit. Let the people know where they can find you and any projects you're working on, anything you would like to bring awareness to.
Really, the only thing I'm working on right now is the Monster Mashers, along with the other gentlemen on this podcast. So check us out. If probably too late, but the 25th is when I believe we're streaming next. I'm assuming this podcast is coming out later than 2 days
after that. This is 4th of July. We're in the past.
This is fair. So yeah, other than that, I haven't been working on too much, and I'm not sure where the future's going with that. So I guess look up Gerp123. No one else was dumb enough to have that name, so you'll find something.
Hell yeah. Look, you'll find a good human, good person.
Thank
what
you.
Look
Thank
for.
you.
And if you also look for Schmoogoogle, that's SCHMOOGOOGLE.
He got it.
Damn,
you got it.
I got it.
Thanks for having us on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
This is great. If I can put in a request for an episode if it hasn't been talked about as I'm reading stuff, I need to know more about this. It's not old wrestling, it seems new, but at least this Cody Rhodes Shaquille O'Neal fight that I'm reading about right now.
Yeah.
On the Wikipedia. So if I can put in a request to hear something about that in the near future on Dorkside, I would love to.
Once AEW gets a streaming service of some kind where I can show old clips easily, not even DCMA, like, because I just show you this stuff and I put this.
Oh yeah.
But like, it's hard to find, like, they don't have like
newer
a video
clips.
So like I can do WWE stuff easily. I think the most recent thing I did was in 2021 was the wedding of Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis, and it just was it was an incredible wedding by wrestling standards, and wrestling weddings never go well.
Amazing.
But like, it's easier for me to get that stuff, whereas AEW, like, there's a lot of AEW stuff I want to show, like Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill and Shaquille O'Neal.
This sounds amazing. Yeah.
I want to do Kenny Omega versus John Moxley in an exploding death match. Death match. I want to do the Anarchy in the Arena, the Stadium Stampedes, stuff that, and there's like a whole bunch of like newer stuff that I want to show, but I want to get through some of these older things.
Definitely.
Because as there's so much to talk about with these older things, whereas like the newer things, like no one's really talking about them, like the behind the scenes stuff, because they're either still working or the people that would normally talk about them don't want to talk about them right now. So
there's not enough information yet.
Yeah, where like it helps me to be like, like Hulk Hogan, quit. Where if I talked about something else, like, oh, like this happened, and it didn't go anywhere. Like, I don't know where it's going. It's still this where we're going is still in progress. So
exactly, definitely still in progress, and it helps because like how we got here, how I found myself watching or reading about this is because from where you started today's episode, right? So I got here through progression.
Yeah, and that's what I love doing is this. Like, all right, hey, what is the trip today? We started, and you guys are trying to turn this into a video game podcast. And I said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about pro wrestling. But yeah, like I'm glad if this inspires you, Shmoo, or anybody to be like, all right, I'm going to start like dabbling a little bit in pro wrestling because this shit.
I think I might.
This shit's.
I definitely see it.
Like, look, again, I'm pro Tony D'Angelo.
Tony D'Angelo. Yeah, I gotta look up him some more. That's right.
He
and Colt, man,
makes me want a Master Choli.
There's just so much good stuff. Carmelo Hayes is incredible.
The 24-inch gabagool.
What you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do, eh? When the 24-inch gabagool runs wild on you, forget about it. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on. It was a blast.
Thank you
for having us.
Again.
Appreciate
As the
opportunity.
last repeat guest that you had to get through, I'm glad I was.
You
I'll
weren't.
see
No,
you
you
later.
weren't.
Or checked
you-
off of your list.
You weren't the last repeat guest. You just, are the latest.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll be the last repeat guest. Now. There's always a new one.
There's
If
always
a repeat for me. Who knows?
too
I made too many
Please,
24-inch
please.
Python jokes.
many dick jokes. But no, thank you guys. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys coming on.
All the love,
Very
bro.
much.
Thank you, Gerp, and thank you, Schmoo, for coming on and being incredible guests. I appreciate it. Thank you. Go continue supporting my guests as I always ask you to do. Follow Schmoo, follow Gerp, do what they do. Follow what they do. They're incredible content creators and more incredible friends. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. It was a fun episode. Again, anytime I get to explain to people why wrestling is fun, and I kind of, pull at their natural curiosity where they're like, all right, I gotta ask you about this. But yeah, also, it's just fun when wrestling is goofy, right? And it doesn't take itself seriously. We say that all the time here, right? Wrestling is at its best when no one is taking it seriously. Next week, next week's episode. Next week's episode is a fun one. We've got Roby, we've got Wheezy coming back. We got Roby, we've got Wheezy coming back for a little bit before Wheezy had to go literally right as we were about to start. I was going to start showing him the topic, which is the Prince ripoff. That is the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea. In 2000, they repackaged the wrestler known as Prince Iakea as basically this Prince wannabe, but obviously there's only one Prince. I got Roby and Wheezy, two people who love Prince, to be a part of it. We watched the last match as Prince Iakea, the Starcade match against Norman Smiley in 1998, and then his re-debut, or him recapturing championship gold as cruiserweight champion at Super Brawl 2000, which is the event itself holds a dear place in my heart as the purveyor of Dorkside, or the purveyor of dorky things in the scope of professional wrestling and sports entertainment, because it was the very first topic I ever did over on Tyler I Am's Patreon podcast with Jim Jam. I've talked about it before. Is the James Brown appearance at Super Brawl 2000. So that is a topic we're going to revisit in full soon because I cannot wait. Thank you guys. If you haven't already, follow us at Dorkside Ring on Twitter and on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Grum. Yeah, we're good there. I got nothing else to put. Again, Money in the Bank was, if you're listening to this on the Patreon, Money in the Bank, July 2nd. I'm gonna get better at this, but I believe also July. Is it July 30th? No, it wouldn't be July 30th. No, it would be July 30th for SummerSlam. July 30th, SummerSlam, live from Nashville. Also will be shown in the Discord. So at Grum, just go to grum.tv in your browser. Just go to grum.tv. You can join the Patreon, and we watch the pay-per-views live as we do. Definitely the WWE ones, because I have a Peacock subscription, and whenever AEW gets together with a streaming service of their own, it'd be great. It'd be a lot of fun to do them as well. Anyways, I don't think I got anything else. Support.grum.tv. Always the Patreon for as low as $1. You can support my creative endeavors and say you were there at the ground level for whatever I'm building. I don't know what I'm building here, but I feel like I'm building something. Thank you guys. Next week, myself, Roby, Wheezy, talking about Prince Iakea's repackaging and re-debuting as the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea. That doesn't make any sense, but it does. On Dork Side of the Ring next week. Look, don't think about it too hard, because because wrestling is at its best when no one is taking it seriously. I am Grum, and I'll see you guys next week here on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast.